Welcome, ladies and gents, and this is another episode of Fill Your Pockets. Today's episode, August 31st, 2021. We're about to hit fall. September is right around the corner, actually tomorrow. Today is just me. Our host, Arun, is not available today, but he'll be back very, very, very soon. So let's get into today's episode. Overall record, 26-19, 58%. Not too shabby, if I were to say so myself. Let's recap yesterday's plays. We had one play. We had my bad. We had two plays. We had two straight money line bets. We had the Rays and we had the Yankees. The Rays were a minus 135 favorite, which was value in my opinion, and they pulled it out. 6-1 winner. The rookie, their young rookie, Luis Patino. What can we say? At home, he's been pretty damn good, if I were to say so myself. Yesterday was probably his best start as a professional, in my opinion. 6 innings, 1 run allowed. His fastball was just dominant. The Red Sox couldn't hit him. And then we get into the Red Sox. Nick Pivetta was their pitcher for the Red Sox yesterday. And I'll give him credit. The man, he showed heart. He threw, I think, 110 pitches around there, something like that. And he gave it everything he had. He gave up 3 runs. For his sake, the Red Sox weren't able to score for him. So it looks like it comes off as a loss for him. But 5 innings, 3 runs allowed. He fought. He battled through a lot of tough situations. And I don't think you could ask more from him if you were a Red Sox player, coach, fan, or anyone associated with the team. But at the end of the day, I would say COVID has been a big factor for the Red Sox. Matt Barnes, Kiki Hernandez, a couple other players, Josh Taylor, who was on the team yesterday, available to pitch. In the 5th inning, we get news that he's not going to be able to pitch because he's a close contact. It's just spiraling out of control since the All-Star break for the Red Sox. They're still hanging on to a playoff spot, but it's going to be a fight, an uphill battle going forward. And for the Rays, what can you say? The Rays just continue their winning ways. 8 straight, 6-1 win yesterday. Nelson Cruz, Brendan Lau started off with the homer. And no matter who's in the lineup, Franco, the young rookie, the best prospect in baseball, continues his on-base streak, 30 straight games of being on base. He did it late. Kind of looked like it was going to be in doubt yesterday, but in the 8th inning, he finds a way to get on base. And the Rays put out again, 6-1 dominant, was never in doubt in my opinion. So we cashed, we won that play. Then we get to the Yankees. They were minus 140. Corey Kluber going up against a bullpen game. It ended up being Mike Myers. And let's be honest, Corey Kluber, he was pretty fantastic the first 3 innings. And I don't know what the hell happened in the 4th inning. I guess he's just not ready for that many pitches maybe right now. Obviously, he was on the injured list for over 3 months. So we should have seen this coming. But, still took the chance because the Yankees are far superior than the Angels. 4th inning, 5 runs allowed. Down, the score became 2-5. But the Yankees, give them credit, they fought back. They tied it up the very next inning, 5-5. Stanton, Judge, LeMahieu, all with big hits, tied up. But then I don't know what the fuck Aaron Boone does with Andrew Heaney. He should not be pitching anymore. Comes in, first pitch, Shohei Ohtani, home run. 2nd inning, he comes in, another run allowed. You got to give your team a chance. I understand you've won 13 straight. You lost 3 straight now, including yesterday's loss. But you can't, in my opinion, once your team comes back, you have to give your team a chance. You have better arms available for you in your bullpen. I felt that was a huge mistake. It's time to move on from the Andrew Heaney experiment. When the Los Angeles Angels are trading away pitchers, that should tell you everything you need to know. They're not good. If the Angels, who don't have good pitching, are trading you pitching, well, guess what that means? I don't think I need to say it for you. So obviously, they ended up being down 7-5. Give them credit again. Yankees, Stanton, homer. Stanton continues his dominant play, ties it up 7-7. But unfortunately, in the end, the Angels are able to pull off by scoring 1 more run in the 8th inning, and the Yankees are not able to respond again. Give them credit. Give the offense credit. They didn't quit. They fought. Unfortunately, they ended up taking the loss. That's 3 straight L's now. But good thing for the Red Sox. My bad. Good thing for the Yankees. The Red Sox keep losing. And the Mariners also lost yesterday to the Houston Astros. And the Oakland A's, they had an off day. And they're still, I think, 2.5 games or 4 games behind them. So, excuse me, wasn't a major loss for them. They can, I guess, afford to struggle right now, get some of their players back. But at the end of the day, yesterday took the L, three straight losses. So that play did not cash for us. 1-1, didn't lose any money. So still overall record 26-19. We don't settle for 500. We don't settle for losses. We're here so everyone can eat, and that's what we're trying to do. So everyone can get their fair share. Now let's get into tonight's games. Today we have a full slate of games. Football season is right around the corner. So for right now, stay tuned with baseball. Obviously, baseball is counting down the days, 5 more weeks around, and the playoffs will begin. But once football's back, I know how it works in this country. Football is religion. Everyone's tune, everyone's attention changes directly towards that. But until then, we have one more week to go, in my opinion. So let's get into it. First game, St. Louis versus the Reds. St. Louis won the game yesterday 3-1. The Reds continue to struggle against lefties. John Lester looking like he's from 2015 Chicago Cubs World Series days. Dominant 6 1/3. Gave up 1 run only. The Reds pitcher Castillo, give him credit. He hung in there 6 innings, 3 runs. He gave this team a chance. The Reds just cannot win against lefties. They just struggle. Unfortunately for them, today, guess what? There's no lefty on the mound. So the Reds are minus 153 favorites in this game. They're at home, obviously. St. Louis's pitcher today, starting pitcher is Mikolas. For the Reds, is Sonny Gray. Now let's get into the teams. St. Louis, obviously, fighting for the wild card with the Reds and the Padres. The St. Louis Cardinals can really find a way of getting into this. They're 2 games back right now. They're right there. Padres are obviously right there. The Reds right now hold the spot, very slight lead. Now let's get into Mikolas a little bit more. He was injured for a majority of the season. He's come back for the past 3 starts. And let's be honest, he played twice against the Pirates and 1 against the Cubs. He looked okay, nothing special. And if you look at his career numbers against the Reds, it's pretty damn awful. 6.00 ERA, 6 ERA against the Reds. Every game that he's pitched against the Reds, he's given up at least 3 runs. So that tells you that the Reds can get to him. Now we get into the Reds. Sonny Gray pitching. Sonny Gray looks like the guy who was dominant a season ago. I mean, actually 2 seasons ago, if I'm not mistaken. He's been dealing with injuries for the past couple of years. And just like this year, he's been injured a couple times. But ever since his recent injury, he's come back, and he's been dominant in his last 4. His last 2 starts have been absolutely phenomenal. Back-to-back wins, which is the most important thing, your team winning when you start. And both those games, one against Miami and one at Milwaukee, which is a very tough place to pitch. At Milwaukee, home against Miami, both games shutout. Total hits allowed was 4 hits. 4 hits in 2 games, 13 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 runs. That's phenomenal. As I mentioned earlier, Reds, they just struggle against lefties. Against Luzardo and against Miami, they couldn't touch them. Yesterday against Lester, they couldn't touch them. These guys have struggled the whole season. But against the Reds, if you're a lefty, at this point, you have a pretty good matchup for yourself. So fortunately for the Reds, they don't have to go up against a lefty today. And I think they're due for an offensive onslaught. They still have the lineup. They still got Votto. They still got Castellanos. They got India. They still got Farmer. They still got Naquin. They still got Suarez. They got plenty of guys. Stevenson, Barnhart. They have plenty of dudes. They can go get after it. They play better at home. They are the number 1 team in runs, if I'm not mistaken, since the All-Star break, especially at home. The Reds know we're in the race right here, but to hit the final stretch, and I feel minus 153. Before the line gets any bigger, get value here now, and the Reds are clearly the play here. Alrighty, now we get to the second game of the day. Just like yesterday, the Boston Red Sox against the Tampa Bay Rays. This game is very, very interesting in my opinion because of all the uncertainty surrounding it. Now, let's get into the Red Sox first. They don't know who their starter is going to be. Obviously, Chris Sale, they're giving him an extra day of rest, so he's going to pitch tomorrow. Pivetta pitched yesterday. Rodriguez is not available till later in the week. Evaldi's not available. He pitched over the weekend. So bullpen has been decimated by COVID. They have a couple guys still there. A couple guys have moved to the bullpen. So will they be starting again? We'll see. So we really don't know who's going to be out there for them. But we know it's going to be a bullpen game most likely. It's going to be people that you wouldn't say are the best quality guys, in my opinion. Uh, like we went over in yesterday's episode, the Red Sox have struggled against good teams, lost to the Rangers, to the Twins, the Indians, etc. The one thing I can say for them tonight is they have dominated Ryan Yarbrough, who's a starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. In 2 starts this season that Ryan Yarbrough has gone up against the Red Sox, one at home, one on the road, the Red Sox have scored 9 runs and 5 runs in those 2 starts, and he's gone 5 innings in both. They have really, really hit this man hard. So if there's one plus for them tonight, it's the fact that they're going up against Ryan Yarbrough. The name is pretty tricky to say, but they probably love the matchup they have tonight. Now we get into Tampa Bay Rays. All they do is win. All they do is win. All they do is win 8 straight W's. It doesn't matter who they're going up against. They have a really good shot of winning the damn game. Yarbrough, as I mentioned, he is starting. I think the worst team he's ever played against is Boston. In his last 5 starts versus the Boston Red Sox, this man has a 10.3 ERA, which is absolutely awful. The lowest runs he's allowed against this team in his career is 4. So right now, before the game starts, just put a 4 next to the Red Sox because it seems like they are going to get to at least that number. In those games, actually no, my bad. 3 starts this season. 2 were starts. 1 was a relief game. I'm pretty sure he came in as a relief pitcher. So he's gone up against the Red Sox 3 times this year. The scores have been 9-5, 9-5, 9-2. Now, why do I bring up the scores? That's 14 total runs, 14 total runs, 11 total runs. Because today, this over-under for the total runs in the game at 8.5, I don't understand why it's so low. I guess it could be because of the unknown with who is pitching for the Red Sox. But when you really look into this, this number is really, really, really low. And if you want to get even more, if you're even a little bit cautious, if you alternate it and make it 7.5 over, it's minus 150, which is still pretty damn good in my opinion. But let's just go over this for a second here. Out of the last 10 games the Tampa Bay Rays have played, 7 out of those 10 games have went over 7.5 runs. And to be honest, the Rays are scoring basically 7 runs, 6 runs themselves on most nights. Now, this number is even more enticing in my opinion. Out of the last 23 games, so basically the month of August, 19 of those have gone over 7.5 in which the Rays have played in. That is a substantial amount of information. That is a trend, a big trend. And when you look into the numbers, Yarbrough is just awful against the Red Sox. So you assume the Red Sox will score. The Red Sox are going to have a bullpen game. So you definitely assume the Rays are going to score. This game should easily go 5-5, 6-5. This could go double digits easy, over, under. But if we're playing it safe here, 8.5 is the original run line. If you can get 7.5 at anything minus 150 or lower, I feel that would be even better value play there because I feel this is going to be a shootout tonight in Tampa Bay. Now we get to the final game that we're going to be going over here. Rematch of yesterday, Yankees-Angels. Yankees, 3 straight losses, 13 straight dubs before. Now there's 3 straight losses. So I'm not going to say the sky is falling. It happens. They're on the road. They've been on the road for a minute now. The offense yesterday finally showed up, so that was a bright spot, 7 runs. They lost the game 7-8, but the last couple games against Oakland, they barely were able to score. So that was a plus for them. Now we get into the pitcher for the Yankees today, Jameson Taillon. This man has been a godsend for the Yankees. But if you really look at it, the last 3 starts, he hasn't been that good against the Twins, I forget who he pitched against before that, and then against the Oakland A's, which was his worst start. He hasn't been himself, really. Oh, yeah, the other game was the White Sox where he gave up 3 runs. So he hasn't been awful. His last start was awful. But at the end of the day, when he's been pitching, all the Yankees do is win. They've won his last 7 starts. And it's very tricky here because do you assume he struggles further or does he correct himself here today? Because maybe now he understands that, okay, I just had a very bad start. It was kind of leading up to this. Now I have to correct myself. So hopefully that happens tonight, in my opinion, especially for anyone that's backing the Yankees in the situation. Now we get to the Angels. They were able to win yesterday. They had a bullpen game. Their bullpen should be tasked as fuck for today. They used everyone. Mike Myers went over almost 30 pitches. Csack went over 30 pitches almost. They used their closer. Guerrero went over 30 pitches. So some of their best relievers, even though they don't have great relievers, but some of their best relievers had almost 30 pitches. So I highly doubt they'll be available tonight. Their bullpen already is garbage. They were able to play pretty decent yesterday, not nothing spectacular because they gave up 8 runs anyways. 7 runs. My bad. Now we get tonight's starter, Berea, who has been struggling for them. He started off the season pretty good, but his last 3 starts, he hasn't gone past 3 innings. I don't think he's gone past 60 pitches, to be honest. So if either he struggles or the bullpen comes in, you're playing with fire if you're the Angels. He's given up 3 runs, 5 runs, and he's lost his last 3 starts. As I mentioned earlier, the bullpen has been heavily tasked. So this could be a shootout again, 7-8. I don't know if it goes that high, but this could definitely be a shootout, depending on what Talon does. Loizaga should be available because he had the night off yesterday. Chapman didn't pitch because it was in a closing situation. Chad Green should be available if they need him. Lucchesi should be available as well. Peralta, he pitched yesterday. He hasn't pitched over the weekend, so maybe he's available for another inning. So the bullpen should be good to go for the Yankees. The offense looked like they woke up again. They have the advantage. The line is moving. So before it gets any further, I want to get onto the Yankees right now. It was at minus 125. You can see it at some places at minus 150. Obviously, if it crosses 140, 150, you don't want to touch the money line. You want to more get into the run line then, or maybe even think about a parlay. But the Yankees are clear and cut to play here. Now it's just about how do we play this today. And for that, that's why we have our IG page because, right now it's 10 a.m. Eastern time. You don't know about the lineups. You never know what could happen. Get some more information. So we wait a little bit, usually before 2, 3, 4 hours before before tip-off of the game, we give our plays out. Obviously, you can find that at Unprofessional Sports IG. Follow. We're 26-19. Nothing crazy, but we're giving out free advice, free winners, and you're making money with us, so why wouldn't you stay tuned? But until then, as my buddy Arun, my host of the show, says, happy gambling, guys.